Hello, I thought I would tell you a little bit about my cancer journey and why I started CancerBot. So last summer, I was on an epic bike trip through the French Alps. Um, I noticed myself feeling very tired after going over the cols and sort of did a self-inspection and found that I had a tumor the size of a large mouse um, uh, in uh, in my lymph node in my leg. Um, Went to see a French doctor, and he said, "You better get back to the UK right away." So I went back. I had trouble getting to see my GP. Um, I went private. Um, I had to push really hard to get them to investigate that because I had some other symptoms that they thought could be gastrointestinal distress. Eventually, I got them to give me an MRI. And then I got put into the NHS. Once it showed that it was malignant, I was in the NHS system. In the UK, cancer treatment is generally not done privately. So I discovered a couple things. One is that I really wanted to use some more advanced medicine and hit it aggressively. Standard of care, my disease is follicular lymphoma. Standard of care for that is either watch and wait or radiotherapy. Um, they felt really strongly the fact that there was um, that I was getting radiotherapy and that it was stage one and that my chances were really good. The best indications were a 76% chance of 5-year progression-free survival, but 76% is not above 90%. And in looking at trials throughout the world, in Germany, many in Germany, some emerging ones in the US, radiotherapy plus rituximab did really well. And but I was not able to convince my doctor to, try to get me into a trial or explore it at all. Really, just help me with the process. So I built it. I started searching through the various databases, clinicaltrials.gov. I used all of the patient-centered clinical trial matching services. There's quite a few, as many of you may know. And I was not able to get trials that did rituximab and that fit my specific disease profiles. So I started writing a tool because of my background in AI and building various products with it. I started writing a tool that would suck up the various world databases, clinicaltrials.gov, the World Health Organization database, the European database, and then extract the criteria so that I could do a better match. I did find some trials. That's a whole other discussion about my difficulties in getting into those trials, maybe for another video. I also got a lot of insight into other therapies, other adjuncts to radiotherapies, including radiotherapy plus intermittent fasting, radiotherapy plus ketogenic diet, and that really inspired how I could supplement the radiotherapy I got with, it turns out, both intermittent fasting and a ketogenic diet. And so the good news is I got really good results. And it was 12 weeks of radiotherapy, but within a few weeks, the tumor was completely gone. I don't think I would have gotten quite as good results. Can't prove it, but I don't think I would have gotten quite good results without the insights that I got from looking at various trials. So since I'd already built this tool, I decided to start CancerBot. So CancerBot has two goals. The first one is, or two, what seems like really gaping holes in the whole treatment of cancer space. One is if you're a patient and you want to get more advanced medicine than standard of care. For some diseases, standard of care is quite old. For some diseases, it's called standard of care, but it's not really appropriate for the patient. And I apologize, I'll give you one more personal story. My father was diagnosed with colon cancer late last year. The doctor put him on chemotherapy. Early this year, he had open heart surgery. He had a stent put in. He was very overweight, and he was just on many different health dimensions. He was not a good fit for chemotherapy. Well, they put him on chemotherapy anyway. I wish I had known about it. Probably could have found him some trials. They put him on chemotherapy. Within 3 days, the chemotherapy killed him. So it needs to be more commonplace that patients and doctors can explore, but especially patients taking agency for themselves, can explore their options beyond standard of care medicine, which might not really be indicated for them. So the first thing I wanted to have CancerBot do was take apart, as we discussed, all the different trials databases, get truly structured attributes from the wall of text that you see on sites like clinicaltrials.gov, and even the various clinical trial matching services that truly match to exactly what those patients' disease symptoms, labs, diagnostics, and biomarkers are. And then, so using AI and large language models to get true structured trial information, which is not really done anywhere. And then to get the match to patients, now you've got the structured trial, you need to match to the patient and their structured attributes. The patient records tend to be incomplete. I know from my time on the board of HealthTree that that's sort of a universal. But what you can do, since you now have trials that they could be eligible for as incentive, you can ask the patient a very targeted set of questions to get just what you need to get them the match, to match more trials. So better structured trial matching by getting the structure out of the trials, getting just enough information from patients. Another thing that we want CancerBot to do is coach patients on an emerging area of cancer treatment called the metabolic approach to cancer. There's a gentleman named Dr. Thomas Seyfried who has revived Warburg's research from the 1920s that shows that cancer is really a metabolic disease, and that the genetic damage is really a byproduct of that. And what Seyfried has done is done several successful trials where he's restricted the carbohydrate intake and some other nutrient intake under medical supervision, which then makes the cancer cells very vulnerable to other treatment. So to some extent, it was those studies that influenced how I approached my cancer. Doing that well without medical supervision is very difficult. It's quite complex. It's not a matter of just the ketogenic diet. There's a lot of other things that can help in terms of modifying your diet. And then there are other things like needing to restrict glutamine while you're trying to kill the cancer cells, but then needing to revive the glutamine feed so that the immune cells can clean up the dead cancer cells. That is done under medical supervision now, but all of these things, whether it's ketogenic, glutamine restriction, other anti-cancer foods, can be reasonably complex, and there's a number of metabolic approach to cancer coaches. And that's a very wonderful service that they offer, but can a bot start to offer that? So CancerBot's not doing that today, but that's definitely on the roadmap of what we want to do. In addition, now that we're serving patients, trying to find them the right trials, we can find out what the others see, what they're asking about, and beyond finding trial matches and being a diet coach, we want to find out what are the gaps, what are the things they're not getting from their doctors and from other support organizations, and be that compassionate doctor as a bot that can guide them to better results and start saving lives.